game. I know it's nothing new, and it's something that you guys have really honed as a muscle, but just how valuable did you feel like that was in the matchup down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, we've done it before, but you're always trying to figure out the limit of it. And Kessler, Markkanen, Collins on the court together is big. And so I thought we did a great job, especially down the stretch on the glass, of scrapping for some of those rebounds. Dub had a big one, Lou had a big one, Kaysen was in the mix, and did a great job kind of offsetting their size with pressure and speed, especially in the fourth quarter.
Obviously, Shea, a historic night for him personally. Still in the fourth quarter, he's making swing passes and trying to create. How'd you find sort of his balance of understanding what he needed to do for the team tonight, scoring wise, with also playing a good floor game?
Yeah, I thought his floor game was pretty good. I thought it shows confidence when you make the right play, even in the face of being able to chase 50 or whatever individual stuff is there for the taking. And so I thought he showed good poise and confidence on a night where he obviously was close to that number. And I didn't think his offense tonight felt much different from some other nights. He's had close to 40 in 3 quarters and then didn't play the fourth in some of those games. It didn't feel a lot different than that. So it was another great scoring performance, but it wasn't uncommon.
If people look at the record, they say, man, it's kind of an easy night, but you call timeout a minute 13 into the game, kind of indicative of how it's going to be a tough night for you, think?
Yeah, it wasn't an easy night. Obviously, we really had to slog through that game. We had some things not go our way, made some mistakes. They just didn't go away on some plays. I thought we could have opened the game up a little bit at the beginning of the fourth, and they put a run on us and got it to 1 or tied the game. But that's, we have to work through that stuff. It's good for us to have to, play bad and get back on track, or have some not get traction in the game and have to try to figure out different ways to find a win. I thought we manufactured the win tonight. I thought the play of the night was the offensive rebound by Dort that ended in the Kaysen 3. That was, I think, a 3-point game. It made it 6, and I don't think it got closer after that. So having to make those plays and having game pressure was a good experience for us, and I thought we rose to that, especially down the stretch.
Is that just kind of one of those closing the game out like that because you did go on a run? If you just look at the final box score, you say, hey, they had a pretty easy night, but you really made big plays down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, we just had to keep banging away, and waiting to bust through, But it took us a long time to bust through. They played really good. I thought Utah, they were competitive and stress tested us, and I thought we obviously could have played better, but the game wasn't easy. And, you got to be able to, like I said, manufacture a win when the game's not easy, and I thought we did that, especially down the stretch.
Mark, Shea enters the fourth with 41. He finishes with 54. He enters the game in the fourth, I think, about 7 minutes or so. He does a lot of that remaining damage with 3-4 minutes left. He's deferring to Dub, early in those minutes, at least it felt like. Just how impressive is that he reached 54, considering those early possessions, and I guess how much of that has been Shea's season where he's eating, but he's also putting his teammates in.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say he was deferring, not to pick at the words, but I didn't think he was deferring. He was the screener on a lot of those plays, which allows him to use his gravity and gets Dub ahead of steam. It involves him in the actions a different way, and we're going to need all that. You can't, in a team sport like this, you can't just pump fastballs every single pitch. You've got to have other stuff. He understands that, and so he's able to see the big picture. And like I said, it shows confidence in the team. That he's doing that stuff, and it also shows confidence in himself that he doesn't feel like he has to just go grab, the cookie out of the cookie jar the minute he sees that it's open. So I thought he did a good job of blending down the stretch, but he's done a great job of that all season.
And a lot of the conversation, especially recently this year, last year, has been, despite how great of a scorer he is, that he never reached 50 in a league full of 50 pieces. Just how impressive has this body of work been that he's put together, and I guess what does it say about him now that he's reaching this and people find it that impressive?
I don't see him any differently than I did to start the night. I think what makes him special is first of all, his character as a person, competitor, leader. That's what makes him, really special to me. And then his basketball, how efficient he is what makes him special and consistent. And he's efficient and consistent every night, not just on the night that he gets a big number in the counting stats. And so, it's obviously a great accomplishment, in his career, but, I don't see him any differently than I did before the game.
Over the years, you guys have talked about putting the individual success somewhat on the back burner for the team success, and the individual success will come naturally. And on a night like tonight where Shai is not forcing shots and he's as efficient as he is and has his first 50-point game, does it make, for a coach, does it make it that much special that he's still doing it the right way, even though he could have came into the fourth and took any shot he wanted? Yeah,
but we have a culture of that, he does that and deserves a lot of credit for that, because obviously, like I said, the cookie jar's open. He can stick his hand in there, if he wants to. But we have a team full of guys that do that. I mean, there's guys that are, scraping for rebounds. And, Caruso, I thought, gave us a huge lift in the second quarter. He gave us a huge lift down the stretch with the steals. He was a total disruptor tonight. I thought Kasem was a dog tonight. I thought Lou, did not have, like we talked about, an easy game, but he made the play of the night with the offensive rebound and extra pass. So we've got an environment full of guys that put the team first, and that's why the whole is better than the sum of the parts, at least to this point. And Shai is not exempt from that. He's included in that, but it is not exclusive to him.
On those case and dunks, we see a lot of coaches react in some way. You just keep that stoic demeanor. Is that something you internally tell yourself not to react or anything, or is it just how you are?
I think you should spend more time watching the dunk and less time watching me.
Coach, when Shai's going off like that, do you see the 50-point performance coming? Do you look at the scoreboard? Are you taking it play by play? I mean, all of a sudden it turned into not about the game essentially, but more how much can he get after you get that double-digit lead?
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, it didn't, like I said, it didn't feel much different. Basketball is an efficiency game, and the NBA's figured that out. It's what do you do with your possessions? It's not just about the counting stats. And so he's been an efficient scorer and efficient player on two ends of the floor for a long, long time, and has been, ridiculously consistent with that for years now. So tonight, like I said, he got the number tonight, but it didn't feel any different. In fact, I didn't even think he played great early. I thought he got it going later, but I didn't think this was his best game of the season. So that's just my opinion.
Well, in terms of the second chance opportunities, you said the offensive rebounding, what does that say about the team? For him to hit one of those big shots off an offensive rebound, and just the way the Thunder just played down the stretch in terms of executing. Yeah, I thought, like I said to Myron's question, I thought we manufactured the win, and there's going to be nights where you're in a great rhythm. And things are clicking. The Brooklyn game was like that. I thought we just had a great team rhythm in that game. And then there's other nights when you don't, for whatever reason. Some of it's the opponent. They deserve credit. They played well tonight. And you have to kind of slog through it and endure parts of the game and not get knocked out and keep yourself in it and let the game turn. And when the wind gets back, at your back. And I thought we did that tonight. It took us a long time to get our footing in the game. And then when we did, we were able to slam the door on the game. But it wasn't an easy one.
Going back to Kasem, he's in the 94th percentile as a cutter. What have you seen from him just his whole career, reading and reacting to the defense?
He's done a great job of embracing the system, and early on, it was a pretty narrow role offensively. It was dunker work, it was rolling, it was cutting, and now he's starting to find a little bit more with the ball in his hands, and I think it's just a great lesson that you can be a really good system player and have that be your starting point. I mean, he played 20-something minutes a game last year for us as a rookie on a good team. And it hasn't prevented him from continuing to grow, and he's going to continue to grow because he's a good player and he's out there on the court. He's getting all these experiences, but he's been a great example of somebody that's built a very strong foundation to his game that he can then layer on top of. And I think developmentally, that's how you draw it up. That's best case scenario because it creates a very high floor for the player, and he's done an incredible job of that.
You mentioned Caruso. he had the steals. I mean, a couple of inbounds in a row. Seemed like they came in times that allowed you to steal some momentum. You're trying to generate some things with his steals. I think he had 4 for the game.
Yeah, he's just a menace. You know, he's in the middle of everything. You know, he was huge there in that stretch. I mean, he had one stretch where they didn't cross half court. You know, it's just because of him. You know, he's just back there messing the game up for everybody except for us. And so, you know, he does that, but he does it intelligently. You know, he does it he's surgical about it. You know, he's smart about where he takes his risks. And, you know, he was in the middle of everything. He was in the middle of a fight tonight. And I thought gave us, like I said, a huge lift in the second, and I thought he gave us a huge lift down the stretch.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks.